What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Football Manager 2023 is nearly upon us. November the 8th is the release date. We have that now revealed by Sports Interactive, and you are probably starting to wonder, who should I manage as a first save in Football Manager 2023? Well, if you're looking for some inspiration and you want to manage in Italy, you have come to the right place. In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 teams that will be interesting rebuild options in Football Manager 2023. I'm going to use a database from FM23 that's updated to show you exactly what your squad will look like and why I think that these 5 teams are the ones that you should try and save in Italy. Let's not waste time. Let's jump straight into the video and show you the first team that I think are an interesting project to rebuild in FM23. The first team then on this list of interesting rebuild options in Serie A in Italy is Sampdoria. Before I jump into the reasons why I think Sampdoria are an interesting option, I have to give some credit out to the Notorious Pro and FTMU for the database that you can see in this video. It's a FM22 update that has been updated to September the 2nd. All of the summer transfers in real life are in this database. Now, obviously, it's only a rough guide in terms of finances and things. It's not a proper substitute for FM23, but it will give you a rough guide as to what you might need and the type of players that you might need to sign in your save. Right then, let's get back to Sampdoria. So Sampdoria are a team I've always adored, all the way back in the 90s when we had the Gazzetta on Channel 4 and we had Football Italia. They were one of the teams that stand out to me. They had players like Vialli, Mancini, David Platt was there for a bit. Even Trevor Francis has played for the mighty Sampdoria. And I think they're a team that time has almost forgotten. When you think of the Italian giants of football, Sampdoria don't really come to the fore anymore. And I think that is one of the reasons why you should have a go at rebuilding them, to bring them back to their former glory. Let's have a look at the club information tab then. Their media prediction is 12th. Their estimated value is only £31.5 million. That is another reason why they are an interesting rebuild. You will have a 3.5-star reputation to start the game, 4.5-star training facilities, a 3-star youth facility, and only 1.5-star youth recruitment. This team is built on literally, I don't want to be disrespectful to Quagliarella because he is absolutely a club legend, but they have one of the oldest teams, I think, in Italy or in Serie A. It's going to be one of those where you need to weed out some of the players that are maybe past their prime to be able to get the players in that you need for the rebuild. Again, no disrespect to any of the players that I'm pointing out for being older. You are going to have to try and reduce the average age of the squad. They play their home games at the Luigi Ferraris. It is a 36,599 seater capacity stadium. It's good condition, was built in 1911. No room for expansion really there, is there? You're going to have to try and rely on other revenues. I don't think ticket sales are going to be bumping up your transfer kitty anytime soon. Looking at their key employees, their captain is Quagliarella. You got Albin Ekdal is vice captain. Key player is Caputo, and Keiki Rocha is their hot prospect from Brazil. A quick look at their finances tab then, and you can see that if this game was correct and it wasn't a custom database, and these are pretty good estimates, you'd have £13.1 million in the bank to start with, 7.6 million in a transfer budget to spend, and your wage budget would be completely spent at £629,175 per week. On course to pass financial fair play in the Champions League. They aren't going to be competing in the Champions League in your first season, so no worries there. It's not a lot of money to really manoeuvre with. You are going to have to try and sell players, I think, to get funds in. And speaking of players, let's have a look at their squad then. As I said, it is a slightly older squad. Looking at the players, they have 3 goalkeepers on the books. Ravaggia is 32. You've got Ordero, he's 24, and Contini is 25. Then in terms of defenders, you've got Omar Colley, 28. He's valued at 4.3 to 5.8 million pounds, so not even that valuable of a player. You've got Alex Ferrari, Jason Murillo, who is 3.4 to 7.4 million, 29 years old again. Andrea Conti is 27. You've got Beresinski, he's 28. You've got Muru, Orgello, Ronaldo Vieira. I think, is he the player that used to play for Leeds United? I believe that he is, indeed. He is indeed. Former Leeds United player, Ronaldo Vieira. They've got Thomas Rincon, who is 33. They've got Frank Font, who is 20. He's an up-and-coming player. Midfielder in the centre. Valerio Ver, 27. You've got Lorenzo Sabatini, he's 19 years old. You've got Mehdi Laris, 23. Abdulhamid Sabiri is 24. You've got Filip Juricic, 29. You've got Manolo Gabbiadini, he's 29, but he seems like he's been around forever. Former Southampton player. Fabio Quagliarella, as I said, he seems evergreen too. 38 years young now. Francesco Caputo is 33. And Manuel De Luca is 22. So looking at the squad then, you've got some older players. You've got some younger players now that are emerging through. I think it is going to be difficult to ship players out. You don't really have players that are stand out in terms of mass amounts of money. Most valuable player on the books there looks to be Francesco Caputo. So all in all, this is going to be quite a difficult challenge. They're a club that I think are a fantastic little club in real life. And they're going to be a perfect challenge as a rebuild in Football Manager 23. Are you up to the challenge? The next club then on this list is going to be the Purple Army from Florence. Yes, it is Fiorentina. These are a team that whenever I talk to people about Italian football, they always get brought up. They have such a rich history in Italian football. They have players like Gabriel Batistuta that helped to raise the profile of the club. And again, they're a team that I used to remember on Gazzetta back on Channel 4 when I was younger, and they were a team that always stood out with their purple kits. Looking at them as a team on Football Manager 2022 going into 23, they would be predicted as a 8th place finish in Serie A. Their estimated value is £150 million. They're going to play football in the UEFA Europa Conference League. Their reputation is 4 stars, training facility of 3.5 stars, youth facility of 3.5 stars, youth recruitment of 2.5 stars. They play their home games at the Artemio Franchi in Florence, 43,147 capacity, very good pitch condition, year built in 1931, and the stadium condition is good. Looks like they have some room for expansion. If you can get the board to do it, you could increase your ticket revenue through that avenue. Looking at their key employees, you've got Briaggi is your club captain, you've got vice captain of Venuti, Milenkovic is the key player, and Dimo Krastev is your hot prospect from Bulgaria. Looking at the club finances then, £16.3 million in the bank to start the game. 7.2 million of that will be made available to you for transfers. However, your wage budget is 1.022 million and you are currently spending 1.022 million. So it's either a slide of the slider or it's release a player or sell a player to get some of that wage budget back. Either way, £7 million isn't a lot to start you off, so it might be a long burner this one. Looking at the squad then and what you do receive when you start the game, you're going to get 3 goalkeepers to start you off. You've got Terracino in goal, you've got Seraffolini, 31 and 22. You've got Quarta, Milenkovic, Dodo, Fiorini and Igor. You've then got Briaggi, who is club captain, Venuti, Ranieri is there. You've got Terzic, Amrabat, Alfred Duncan. You've got Rolando Mandragora, Simon Zukowski, Yusuf Mala, Marco Bonassi, Gaetano Castrovilli, Nicolas Gonzalez, Giacomo Bonaventura, Ricardo Sotil, Ricardo Saponara. Sorry if I'm butchering some names here. Jonathan Iconi, Arthur Cabral, Christian Kouame and Luka Jovic up top. So it's a team that has a lot of young players with a lot of potential. And I think that obviously £7 million is not a lot to spend. In the first season, you might not need to bring a lot of players into the club to improve it in the short term. I really do think that they have a lot of unearthed gems in this team. Yeah, I think they have the complete package to be a candidate for a rebuild because you don't have a lot of money to start, but they do have certain players like Quarta, they have Milenkovic, Both of those players are worth 15 to 19 and 20 to 23 million. You've got Dodo is worth 37 million. If you need to move players on, and Football Manager 23 is like 22, half of these players will join Newcastle and you'll be fine anyway. But there is always potential for the rebuild. You have also got potential to raise the capacity of the stadium if you can get the board on side. So I think Fiorentina are going to be a great challenge. Let us know in the comment section if you take on the Fiorentina challenge. Third up on this list are Bologna. This is a team that I find interesting. You never really hear of Bologna as a top team. You never hear of them as a team that are struggling. Bit of a steady Eddie when it comes to Serie A. I think it's time that somebody goes in, shakes them up and turns them into title contenders. And that's the reason why they are on this list. So looking at the club then, media prediction is 10th, exactly in the middle. Like I said, steady Eddie team. Estimated value is £72.8 million. You won't have European competition to contend with straight away. You'll have a 3.5-star reputation, a 4-star training facility, 4-star youth facility, 2.5-star youth recruitment. They play their home games at Renato Dall'Ara in Bologna, 38,279 capacity stadium. It was built in 1926. It's in average condition and it looks like there is plenty of room for improvement and expansion if you need to pester the board into doing so. Looking at your players then, you've got Soriano is your captain, Di Silvestri is vice captain, Marco Arnautovic, Manchester United's target, Marco Arnautovic, is your key player, and your hot prospect is Wisdom Ame, who has been fantastic in this game since day one. Looking then at the finances, what are you going to get to spend to improve the club? £12.1 million in the bank gives you £6.8 million as a transfer budget. Wage budget is fully spent at £616,052 per week. So, looking at a lot of the teams in Italy, it seems pretty obvious that the mould is different to the Premier League. Not a lot of these teams are going out spending £60-70 million. There's certainly no Man City in and amongst this list. You're going to have to work hard and you're going to have to scrape the barrel with some of the players. £6.8 million is not going to stretch. If you're going to get more money, you're going to need to sell players. And it seems like that is a trend in Serie A. Looking then at your squad, let's run through the players that you are going to have. You have 2 goalkeepers, Bardi and Skorupski. You've got Bonifazi, you've got Somaro, De Silvestri, Cassius, Gary Medel is there, Lyko Giannis is there, Akampura, Lukumi, Dominguez. You've got Jurdy Schutten, Robert Soriano, Lewis Ferguson, who is an interesting player, a Scottish player. Bologna obviously had Aaron Hickey on the books before. They now have another Scottish player in Lewis Ferguson. They turned Aaron Hickey to Brentford for a big profit. Are they looking to do the same thing with Ferguson? It's an interesting strategy for them to go down that path. Maybe it's something you'll continue if you take on the save. They've got Michael Abisha, you've got Orsolini, Vignato, Joshua Zirkzee, Okwanko, Barrow, Jubara, Sansone and Marco Arnautovic. So this is a squad that has a lot of experience. There are a lot of players there that are 30 or over. Players like Arnautovic, players like Gary Medel. And you've also got players that are 19, 20. Your upcoming player is Wisdom Ame, who is a fantastic centre-back who will learn a lot from players that are in the team. I think this is a team that would be a really fun rebuild, just for the fact that if you can get the right players to come in, find the right system to play, this team could absolutely fly. I am convinced that Bologna, even though they don't have a lot of money, would be interesting to see what could happen if you do get them a lot of money and to see what players you could attract to the club. We are now flying off to Rome and the home of the Bianco Celesti. Yes, we have landed on the blue side of Rome. We are showing off Lazio. I think Lazio are a real big candidate for a rebuild in this game. They're a team that push so hard for the top 4 positions and they always fall just a little bit short. Not due to a lack of quality, sometimes it is just the teams above them are a little bit better. This is a club that has a fantastic fan base and has a massive rivalry with neighbours Roma. Let's show you then their club info. The media prediction is to finish in 5th place. They're an estimated value of £198 million. You'll have Europa League football in the first season, a 4-star reputation, 4.5-star training facilities, 3.5-star youth facilities, 2.5-star youth recruitment. They play at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome, which has 68,530 capacity, built in 1953. I don't think you'll have any problems selling the tickets for this stadium. I think there is no expansion needed either. Ticket revenue will be good, especially when you're playing against Roma. That game stirs such emotions from everybody in the city. Looking then at your key staff, you will have Ciro Immobile, his club captain. You have Milinkovic-Savic as vice-captain. He's also the key player. And your up-and-coming star is Luca Romero, who I have featured in one of my 11 teenagers to watch on FM23 series. Let's look then at the finances and see what you will have to play with once you are in the club. So this is the biggest budget so far that we have come across in Italy. Roughly, if the database is right, they will have 24 million in the bank. 12.3 million of that will be available to spend, and their wage budget is 1.19 million pounds. So a decent amount of money to go out and buy new players. Also, if you shift players on, the wage budget then can be adjusted, and you can start to comfortably get the players you want to progress the rebuild. Looking at the squad, what will you inherit when you first get there? So you've got Provedel, Adomis, Maximiano in goal. You've got Romagnoli, Casale, Patrick, Radu, Lazari, Gila, Hisaj, Fares, Marusic, Kamenovic. You will also have Marcos Antonio, Danilo Cataldi, Vecino, Cleane. Not too sure. I apologise for the butchering of the names. Andrea Marino, Basic, Milinkovic-Savic, Luis Alberto, Pedro, Anderson, Zaccagni, and Ciro Immobile up top himself. So with Immobile, you will have a goal machine. You will have players like Felipe Anderson and Milinkovic-Savic to give him the ball. Maybe this team just needs tightening up in the middle of the park. Also, some defenders might need to be bought. I think overall this is a team with massive potential, and I think if you go in for the rebuild and take them on as a first rebuild project, you're going to have a lot of fun, because quite quickly this team could turn into title contenders, I'm sure. So let me know if you plan to manage Lazio in FM23. The final team then on the list of Italian teams that you should look at rebuilding in FM23 is going to be Monza 1912. This team have had some story. Recently purchased by some very powerful people. They were in Serie D as recent as 2017. They have ascended the Italian football leagues so quick that they have now reached Serie A. It's going to be a massive, massive challenge to keep this team in the league. They are so underpowered, but probably have the potential to stick around in Serie A, and I think they're a candidate to rebuild in FM23 on that alone. So let's have a little look at the club then. The media prediction is 18th. Estimated value of the club is only £9.1 million. Reputation is 3 stars, 2.5 stars training facilities, youth facilities of 2.5 stars, and you don't even have proper youth recruitment. It's 4.5 stars, but it's not fully shaded. They play in the Briantio U-Power Stadium in Monza. It was built in 1988. It's in average condition. It has a capacity of 18,568. Obviously, if you stick around in Serie A and stick this one out, make it work, you're going to need to expand that stadium. It does look like it's not enclosed, so there is plenty of room for you to probably do it. Looking at their key employees then, they currently don't have a club captain. They have Giulio Donate as their vice-captain, Stefano Sensi as their key player, and Bondo as their hot prospect. Looking then at the finances, like I said, they are owned by some pretty powerful people, but the money is not there. £8.1 million as an overall balance. You have a budget of 1.7 million to spend. Wage budget is 566,000, so this is going to be for the hardcore. Having £1.7 million to do a rebuild isn't going to be easy. Plus, you're not going to be able to attract some of the players that the other teams could. This is going to be one of the stiffer challenges if you choose to accept it. Looking at your squad then, this isn't the biggest squad in the world. It also doesn't have a lot of quality, but you've got Lamana in goal, Di Gregorio, Ranocchia, Paletta. You've got Caldirola, Carbone, Donate, Birindelli. you have got Valentin Antov, Luca Marone, Augusto. You've got Scozzarella, Rigoni, Barberis, Colpani, De Alessandro, Salvatore Molina, Valotti, Machin, Bondo, Maric, Chiuria, Danny Motta, Gitschar, Christian Gitschar up front, who is Danish. So, yeah, if we filter out players that are currently away from the club, your squad basically fits on one page. When you have £1.7 million to spend, it's going to be difficult to go out and bolster your ranks with no money. You also don't have players that are of any great value to go out and spend other than Ranocchia at the back, and even then he's a 33-year-old, so whether you want to keep him or move him on is up to you. Whether you want to keep his experience, it might be vital in terms of staying in the league. You also might need to sell him on to get the money. So there are lots of different angles that you can look at this save from. You can either go hell for leather and try and just move all the high value players on to get money to build your own squad. You can play the long game. You can just buy a player here or there. It really is an interesting project at Monza, and one that I think should be taken on in FM23. There we go then, 5 interesting projects for you to take on in Serie A in FM23. That Monza save looks like fun. It's one that I am actually considering for my own channel. I think once you get your claws into it and you have to decide whether you want to keep the experience of that expensive player or move them on to get more players into the club, it's going to get real fun real quick. The other teams obviously all have great prospects in terms of rebuilds. I think Football Manager 23, the Italian league, is going to be fun. You obviously have to compete with the Juventuses, Inters and AC Milan, but once you get into the swing of things, I think Serie A is going to be a competitive league in FM23. Right then, I'm going to wrap this one up. Before I go, if you're still here, still listening to me, and you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a like. Also, give it a subscribe if you want to hear from all of the other content on the channel. Don't forget to go and check it out. We've got other things such as tactics, Wonder Kids. We have Let's Plays. There is something for everybody on the channel. But for this one, I'm going to end it there. Big thank you for watching.